Hello and welcome to Untwisted Threads. This is Cascade Yarns 220 Superwash Merino. This 100% Superwash Merino wool yarn currently features 115 colors. The colorway we chose is 74 Ash Rose, a warm purple mauve. This 100 gram skein with 220 yards works up as a DK or light worsted weight yarn. The suggested gauge on 4mm needles is 20 to 22 stitches per 10 centimeters or 4 inches. We will be using a 4.5mm needle size for our swatch. In today's video, we're going to review and score Cascade 220 Superwash Merino using our 5 categories, which are availability, softness, traction, durability, and cost, to help you decide if this is the best yarn for you and your next project. Stay tuned until the end for a few pattern recommendations as well. Let's get started. For availability, we give 220 Superwash Merino a score of 4 out of 5. Cascade originates here in the US, and this yarn is pretty easy for you to be able to purchase, but it's not as widely available as its sibling, Cascade 220. You can find it on Lovecrafts, Webs, and a few other smaller yarn shops, but you're probably not going to run into it everywhere you look, if that makes sense. It's pretty common, but it's not quite a 5 out of 5. For softness, we give it a score of 4.6 out of 5. If you're familiar with merino yarn, you may be aware of its softness, and this one is no exception. Merino is recognized as one of the more common and softer wools to work with. The merino fiber is very fine, and it can't be prickly like other wools are because it can't stand up to the weight of itself. Merino is a great option for someone like me with sensitive skin. For comparison, this one is not quite as soft as Mila Mia Naturally Soft Merino, but it is noticeably softer than Cascade Heritage. I'd say it's pretty comparable to Drops Daisy. For a micron count or softness rating, merino yarns are typically a 20 micron count, whereas Peruvian Highland wool is typically around a 27. I have experience with some merinos that were not as soft as I would have hoped, but I consider this one to be on the softer side and very enjoyable. Similar to other wools, merino yarn is a highly sought-after fiber for clothing companies because merino features characteristics like being odor-resistant, breathable, hypoallergenic, wrinkle-resistant, antimicrobial, and durable. So not only will this beautifully soft merino yarn be nice and soft to wear, but it will also keep you warm too. For traction, we give it a score of 5 out of 5. The construction or spin of this yarn didn't give me much worry. This yarn features a high twist with little to no stray fibers. Unlike more rustic wool, merino yarns like this one just glide so smoothly and in my opinion are a dream to work with. You won't have to worry about it slowing you down by sticking to your needles or other fibers. With that being said, if you are a beginner or aren't a fan of working with softer yarns, I recommend trying this yarn with bamboo or wooden needles to give you a little bit of grip or more control. But for me, I had a great experience when working with this one. For durability, we give it a score of 4 out of 5. Often softer yarns don't hold up well to wear and tear and are prone to pilling. Because merino wool fibers are more fine, it is a little bit delicate on its own. However, the higher twist of this yarn definitely adds some strength, allowing it to withstand a little bit of greater tension and stress. Since this yarn has undergone a superwash treatment, that should prevent the fibers from felting together. Although washing this yarn won't be an issue because of its superwash treatment, I do recommend taking extra care if or when it does pill, so your garment keeps looking nice and neat. For cost, we give it a score of 3.5 out of 5. For being a 100 gram skein, you can expect to pay around $13 US per skein, meaning a size medium sweater would cost approximately $80 US. So I would say the cost of this one puts it in around the mid-cost range for a merino yarn. Now, since Cascade is US based, you won't have to worry about international shipping, conversion rates, or shipping costs, which is a bonus if you don't like doing that. Overall, we give Cascade 220 Superwash Merino a score of 4.2 out of 5. Yes, you heard me right, this yarn feels like Drops Daisy, but has so many more colors to choose from. The cost is of course a bit more expensive than Daisy, but I wouldn't put this yarn out of the running if I'm looking for a specific colorway or the opportunity to see the color selection in a local yarn shop before I make my purchase. Now, we had a little look on Ravelry and wanted to share a few pattern recommendations with you, hopefully to inspire you for your next project if you're wanting to use this yarn. The first pattern is called the Throwover by Andrea Mowry. This is actually a pattern we recommended as a beginner colorwork knitting pattern. This sweater is knit from the top down with a deep collar that transitions into a colorwork round yoke. The sleeves are separated and put on hold while the body is finished. They are then returned to the needles and knit down for a customizable and seamless sweater. The suggested gauge is a lot larger than this yarn recommends, so you would probably need to go up a needle size, which would create more drape in your garment. Since this yarn line has 115 colors to choose from, the choice of color combinations are endless for the 4 colors recommended for you to use in this sweater pattern. I have a soft spot in my heart for colorwork patterns, and I think this combination of the yarn and the pattern would work out so nicely. The next pattern is a free pattern called Jason's Cashmere Hat by Melissa Thomson. This free pattern features a simple cable design for extra warmth, firm ribbing to help keep its shape, and a thick folded brim that can be adjusted to cover the ears on extra chilly days. This hat uses less yardage than one skein of this yarn and could probably be completed in a weekend. I think because this yarn is so soft and superwash treated, a hat would be perfect because it is next to your skin and won't irritate you, and you can also just throw it in the washing machine. The last pattern is called Gramps by Tin Can Knits. This adorable pattern comes in 17 sizes, ranging from newborn all the way to 4X. It is a cardigan and features optional pockets with a shawl collar. It is worked flat from the top down with raglan increases. Sleeves are put on hold while the rest of the body and bottom ribbing is knitted. The sleeve stitches are put back onto your needles and knitted down. And then the front button placket and shawl collar stitches are picked up and knitted in a rib stitch. You could easily choose 1 or 2 colors to knit this vintage looking cardigan for any member of your family. And especially if you wanted to gift this garment to a family member, you know for sure they will be warm in their soft cardigan that can easily be washed. Have you used Cascade 220 Superwash Merino yarn before? What yarn would you like for us to do a review on next? We would love to hear your thoughts and recommendations in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's review, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.